Dear brothers and sisters, clear the path. We March in the Road to Vermiglio is a moving family saga awarded the Grand Jury Prize at the Venice Film Festival and 6 statuettes from the prestigious David Di Donatello Awards, the Italian equivalent of the Oscar. This visually stunning drama has become one of the biggest events in Italian cinema in recent years. Director Maura Del Pero, drawing inspiration from her own family history, creates an intimate yet universal story of love, betrayal, transience, and hope. Set in the harsh yet beautiful landscape of the Italian Alps, the film transports viewers to 1944, revealing the life of the closest human community in the shadow of a great history. The final month of World War II, the peaceful life of a family living in the mountain village of Vermiglio is disrupted by the arrival of a young soldier who deserts the army and seeks refuge far from the war front. He begins an affair with the eldest daughter of a local teacher. The relationship becomes a catalyst for transformation both within the family and the local community, revealing long-hidden emotions, secrets, and conflicts. The road to Vermiglio is like a postcard sent to the future, where beneath the snow costumes and meticulously rendered details of a harsh existence lies a gripping, vivid, and poignant story about how distant events and decisions impact us here and now. With nuanced characters, exceptional cinematography depicting breathtaking alpine landscapes, and subtle narratives, Del Pero creates a cinematic experience that is deeply memorable, quiet yet incredibly powerful. The rhythm of changing nature is captured by Chopin's Nocturne and Vivaldi's The Four Seasons, which accompany the characters. This subtle, crafted story is an emotional journey through the human choices and the consequences that define our lives. Those who come from afar have the secrets. The ancient Persians not only survived the desert, they created it. The underground Khanats brought water from the mountains, building cities like Yazd, where rivers didn't flow. Some of them still function today. My dearest, I write this in a politically incorrect way, gazing at the three pillars of the capital city of Warsaw, the Palace of Culture, Złota 44, and Warsaw. It's a shame that the clouds are so high, because you could joke that the sky rests on them. Autumn reflections in the Tatra Mountains, another view. The Tatra Mountains in autumn shimmer with 1,000 colors. Gold intertwines with the red of the Czerwone Wierchy Mountains, close to Zakopane city, and morning mist turn every walk into a fairy tale hike. This is the most beautiful time of year to slow down and truly relax. And Smrekova Glade, cozy evenings by the fireplace, aromatic tea with a little surprise, and moments of pure relaxation in the spa after a day of a trail awaits you. And in the morning, breakfast with regional flavors and the scent of freshly ground coffee. May this autumn be exceptional. Book your stay today and let the Tatra Mountains enchant you anew. And beyond that, believe wholeheartedly that you were created for a life full of passions, purpose, magic, and wonder. Now, before me, the fascinating history of Poland from the perspective of bankers, trade routes, and geopolitics was recently revealed in Jakub Woziński's innovative and revealing look at the 19th century Polish history in 3 volumes book titled Historia Polski. See the third volume from the mouth of the Vistula to the Black Sea. As a Christian, I'm looking for the friendship. True friendship is never truly certain. It's practically impossible. It's failed me many times. And it seemed like friendship to me until death. Friendship is essentially our contribution to another person. And it doesn't have to be reciprocal, despite signs of reciprocity. We don't know if the other person's contribution to our friendship is identical to ours. It's like love. Two people love each other, but we don't know if it's with the same love, noted award-winning Polish writer Wiesław Myśliwski. In his latest speech at the United Nations General Assembly, President Trump said, "Your countries are going to hell." President Trump highlighted several fundamental issues, particularly immigration and ideas for suicidal energy. We need to move away from green energy. We spoke about safe energy and immigration, carbon footprint. I love Europe, and I worry about European nations. President Trump said, Christianity is the most persecuted in the world right now. At this time, French President Emmanuel Macron was briefly stranded on the streets of New York City when police blocked roads for Donald Trump's motorcade. A widely shared video shows Macron getting out of his car, arguing with officers, and then calling Trump jokingly, asking him to clear the road. The moment came just after Macron's speech at the United Nations, in which he recognized Palestinian independence, a move opposed by the United States and Israel. While waiting, Macron strolled through Manhattan, posing for photos and exchanging casual remarks with passerby. Despite the cheerful appeal, tensions remain as Macron presses allies to support Palestinian independence, which Trump condemned it as rewarding Hamas. President Trump has recently been strongly criticizing the London mayor, Sir Sadiq Aman Khan, born October 8, 1970, London, is a British politician and lawyer of Pakistani descent. Mayor of London since 2016, in the first Muslim in history to hold this office and a member of the House of Commons for the London Borough of Tooting for 3 consecutive terms, 2005, 2010, 2015. A member of the British Labour Party, ideologically, he is on the moderate social democratic wing of the party. He is a terrible man, Trump noted, who represents Sharia law, immigration, and ideas about suicidal energy. However, you don't fight Satan with Satan, but with prayer. Padre Pio of Pietrelcina said, as a Muslim, Aman Khan embodies Sharia law. Sharia, or Islamic law, is a religious system regulating the spiritual, mental, and physical behavior of Muslims, dividing acts into 5 categories: obligatory, recommended, permissible, reprehensible, and forbidden. Its purpose is to ensure the spiritual and physical development of the individual, and its norms are derived from the Quran and the Sunnah. What is Sharia? As I said, is a set of rules and norms that govern the life of every Muslim, covering all aspects of human life, from private life to public affairs, categories of acts. Application and practice. In some countries, such as Saudi Arabia, Sharia law forms the basis of the entire legal system interpretation. In countries where Sharia is not codified, judges base their rulings on their own interpretation of Sharia principles. Sharia can influence marriage, inheritance, finances, and matters of worship, as well as determine penalties from crimes such as adultery and apostasy. Sharia covers various areas of life, such as dietary and dress codes, as well as norms regarding finances, family, and criminal law. What is the difference between Sufi, Sunni, and Shia Islam? The main differences between Sunnism, Shiism, and Sufism are Sunnism and Shiism are branches of Islam based on differences in the interpretation of authority after the death of the Prophet Muhammad, while Sufism is a mystical tradition found in both Sunni and Shiite Islam, not a separate branch. Shiites believe that leadership after Muhammad should belong to his descendants, while Sunnis recognize the legitimacy of the election of the first caliphs. Sufism focuses on spiritual development and the pursuit of direct experience of God. In this context, I would like to mention that 47 people currently live on a remote island on Pacific Oceans. These are descendants of the famous HMS Bounty mutineers who burned their ship in 1790 and disappeared in the Pacific Oceans, escaping British justice. President Trump was the guest of honor at the state dinner at Windsor Castle on Wednesday and was treated like royalty at a banquet in the United Kingdom. Over 150 people attended the state dinner alongside King Charles III and President Trump. Seating plan for the state dinner to mark President Trump's official reception, he presented a cross-section of the wealthy and powerful eager to carry favor with him. The banquet table was also filled with influential power brokers from the worlds of technology, finance, and media. They seated side by side were some of the richest, most influential, and most powerful people in the world, all together at one long table in a nearly 1,000-year-old castle. The guest of honor sat in the center of the table, wearing a white tie, looking happier than ever. He was being treated like a king by a true king. The state dinner that King Charles III hosted for President Trump on Wednesday evening 1 week ago at Windsor Castle seemed like a new high for Mr. Trump, a dazzling display of the powerful jostling to gain or retain the favor of a president whose second term has been marked by a displays of brute force. These displays increasingly take the form of revenge against perceived enemies at home and frayed alliance abroad. The bond between our nations is truly extraordinary, said Charles. As we renew our bond tonight, we do so with unwavering faith in our friendship and shared commitment to independence and freedom. The president seemed extremely pleased with the whole situation. He didn't seem the least bit irritated when the king gently touched on environmental issues in his speech and after Ukraine needs support. Mr. Trump rose and, upon speaking, said, "It is a unique privilege to be the first American president to be welcomed here." The United States presidents have been welcomed in Windsor, including Mr. Trump in his first term, though not at the state dinner. Such dinners are usually held at Buckingham Palace in London, but that old structure is undergoing renovations. The United Kingdom's goal is clear. The royal family cooperated with the British government, showering President Trump with attention and honors on Wednesday so that he could be more compliant and in negotiations with one of America's oldest allies during the Thursday's diplomatic meeting with the Prime Minister. And what about the rest of the table? 160 people were seated in the banquet hall. 1,452 pieces of cutlery, clinked and squeaked in the hands of media barons, financiers, politicians, and tech moguls. Among the influential players were members of Trump's cabinet and top White House advisors. The sitting plan for Wednesday dinner should be preserved in the castle and studied 1,000 years from now as a fascinating document of Western history. This wasn't a table filled with pop singers, movie stars, celebrities, or the fashionistas whose company Trump often sought. It wasn't about star power, it was about true power. See, for beggar's banquet, this one was quite lavish, the New York Times. In my opinion, this was Charles I's third name day at its finest. Last week, as the United States President left the White House for his first dinner in Washington since his return, he was shouted at in the restaurant by a group of protesters who, in support of Gaza, compared him to Adolf Hitler. They were ejected. In the United Kingdom, the night before the official dinner, protesters projected images of Mr. Trump talking with Mr. Epstein onto the castle walls, a reminder of the political turmoil that awaited him back home. After all, fortresses are designed to keep the wealth out and not banquet last forever. My dearest, today the Polish president took the podium a few minutes after 1 hour AM and spoke at the United Nations General Assembly. On February 24, 2022, we were rudely awakened from our dream of a world at the end of history. History has not ended, and history will not end, said Karol Nawrocki during the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly. There are borders, there are human rights, there are international law. I like and appreciate all languages, especially Polish, so allow me to deliver my speech in my native language. Nawrocki began in English. I am standing here for the first time as the President of Poland, and I feel great pride in this, he emphasized. Russian aggression against Ukraine, which disrupted the international order, international law began to be treated as a suggestion, not a rule. After the outbreak of war, Polish men and women opened their hearts and homes for Ukrainians. We stand at a turning point in history, and today's world is a battlefield for principles. This is the last moment to take concrete action. Russian aggression is not a local conflict. It is a test of whether United Nations principles will yield to the aspirations of Russia, a state that recognizes it can be above the law, Nawrocki said emphatically. According to Nawrocki, Russia has never abandoned its imperial aspirations. There is no consent for Russia to intimidate European societies. We do not consent to this. Lasting peace cannot be built on rewarding aggression. We cannot accept violations of territorial integrity. Holding Russia accountable must be our shared responsibility, and the perpetrators of all crimes must be brought to justice. I hope this will happen, and we will not be meeting for years to come and discussing this. No wars, no wars, no wars, I emphasize, can benefit the aggressors, he said. No wars can be profitable for aggressors. For aggressors, even economically. State deserve full reparations from those who started wars. This included World War II. Poland is monitoring the situation in this region with concern, where the brutal Hamas attacks of October 7, 2023 led to the escalation of the conflict. Israel, like any other state, has the right to self-defense. However, the actions it takes must be consistent with international law, including humanitarian law, he said of the situation in the Middle East. The second things of this night. The world must stand with all those who are denied a sense of security, the Polish president declared. For many years, our Western friends subsidized the Russian Federation by purchasing cheap Russian gas. He explained, we must defend life from natural conception to natural death. Third thing of this night. Neutrality always helps the perpetrators, never the victim. Silence encourages the perpetrator, never the victimized. Poles, dear brothers and sisters, Poles, myself included, elected President Nawrocki in the spring elections of this year. He should receive the Nobel Peace Prize as soon as possible, a prize only President Trump can envy. The dearest, nationalism should not be confused with patriotism. Both words are usually used so vaguely that any definition is open to question, but they must be distinguished because they represent two different, even contradictory ideas. By patriotism, I mean attachment to a particular place and a particular way of life, which one considers the best in the world, but which one does not wish to impose on others. Patriotism is inherently defensive, but military and cultural nationalism, on the other hand, is extremely linked to the desire for power. The unwavering goal of every nationalist is to gain greater power and prestige, not for themselves, but for the nation or other entity in which they have chosen to immerse their individuality. The safety and security of Israel must be realized in states with a larger Muslim population. Voices of the United Nations Assembly. Let us be the sunflowers of the entire world, always turning to the suns. The cosmic space is silent because there is no air for sound to move in space. What would it be like to experience total silence? The independence of the Palestinian people is very important. Thank God. In the meantime, let us march into the future in our ways. The successor of St. Peter, the first of the Polish lineage, observed, I, John Paul II, take the liberty of making the words of the Apostle Paul my own, and I say to you, faithful of the Catholic Church, and to you, brothers and sisters from other churches and ecclesial communities, strive for excellence, encourage one another, be of one mind, live in peace, and the God of love and peace will be with you. Tomorrow is not promised, and the past cannot be changed. Therefore, live each day to the fullest, and know that each new day is a blessing. Time is too short to be average. You must wake up each morning with a purpose and promise yourself to make the most of every moment. Excuses must end. All you need to create your best life is what you have now. It's already ahead of you. It's all you need to begin. You must give your all to live your best life. It's over. The time is now. Life doesn't ask if you have the strength. Life demands you move on. I allowed myself to open the account. As a Christian, they called my soul. Originality is not a lucky break, but a spark of courage that allows your true self to shine, unfiltered and fearless, in a world of echoes. Finally, I'll quote the Beatles from my childhood. Yesterday, all my problems seemed so far away. Now it seems they'll stay with us forever. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Suddenly, I'm not half the man I used to be. I shadow hangs over me. Oh, yesterday came suddenly. Why she had to go, I don't know. She wouldn't say. I said something wrong? No, I missed yesterday. Thank you, and may God bless you.